some pretty pictures in there. Almost as pretty as yours. Kind of looks like yours, though. It was cold outside. It was warm inside. A fine day for gingerbread, Maddie thought. Maddie's mother put a big blue bow on the table and lit the stove. Maddie took out a worn-looking cookbook with old-fashioned writing on the cover. He opened it up and turned the page to said gingerbread board.
Here, Andrew, where's my picture?
They measured and mixed. Maddie rolled the dough into the shape of gingerbread boy, and they popped them into the oven. Bake a full 8 minutes, no more, no less. Not peak, the recipe reads. Maddie listened to the clock, tick-tock, tick-tock. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5. Maddie couldn't wait any longer. He opened the oven door to take a peek. Instead of a gingerbread boy, out popped a gingerbread baby. He pranced around a big blue bowl. I'm a gingerbread baby, fresh from the pan. If you want me, catch me if you can. Maddie's mother raced for the gingerbread baby to put him back in the oven. But he ran all around the kitchen. He opened the door, and in came Maddie's father. What's that delicious smell? He asked as the gingerbread baby tumbled through his legs and outside into the yard. He ran by the tabby cat. She switched her tail and sprang after him. They rumbled and tumbled, but the gingerbread baby came out on top. He ran towards the garden wall. The dog caught a whiff of the tasty ginger and sniffed along behind him. But the gingerbread baby was halfway up when the dog caught up. He barked and barked, and the gingerbread baby climbed over the wall. Poor dog. Looks like he got into the snow. Maddie was still inside. He heard his mother and father yelling. He heard the cat meowing and the dog barking. And he heard the gingerbread baby shouting, catch me if you can. Maddie opened the worn-looking cookbook for the second time. Meanwhile, the gingerbread baby wheeled down the path into the barn. The goats looked up as he somersaulted across their backs. The last one tried to catch him, but the gingerbread baby was too fast. Martha and Madeline were standing by the well when gingerbread baby stopped to take a drink. They looked at each other and winked. Martha started to talk to him, while Madeline tiptoed up behind him with a bucket. But they couldn't fool that gingerbread baby. He took a braid from Martha and a braid from Madeline and tied them in a knot and ran down the road. Back in the house, Maddie stirred and mixed and rolled the dough. He shaped it, put it in the pan, and baked into the oven. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick. 8 long minutes. This time he didn't peek. I'll catch him if I can, Maddie said to himself. What do you think of him tying on the girl's hairs together? See if he gets caught. As he bounced along, the gingerbread baby saw a farm wagon just ahead. He jumped in and settled down for a ride next to a mama pig. The smell of gingerbread was too much for her. She tossed him high in the air, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. But the gingerbread baby twisted in the air and came down hard on her porky snout. I'm the gingerbread baby, too quick for mother and father, too fast for cat, dog, and goats, too clever for Martha and Madeline, too smart for Mama Pig. Who's left? Catch me if you can. Feeling smug, the gingerbread baby strode along by himself until he came to a bridge that crossed over to the village. Just as he got to the middle, he heard running feet behind him. He saw a crowd of villagers ahead of him. The gingerbread baby was trapped. He jumped up onto the railing, backflipped through the air, and landed on a chunk of ice floating down the river. Boy, that's a fast gingerbread baby, wouldn't you say? The ice bobbled up along the river with Gingerbread Baby dancing on top, singing in a loud voice, "Look at me, and what do you see? The best gingerbread baby ever," until his feet got cold and he jumped ashore. Who was watching from the trees? It was the fox. He crept up behind Gingerbread Baby, ready to eat him, but the fox couldn't help it, and he licked his chops, smack, smack. The Gingerbread Baby heard him and ran fast as he could. He's going to have everybody after him, isn't he? Just when the fox was catching up, the Gingerbread Baby saw the milk and cheese man with his can of milk. The perfect hiding place, he thought. He lifted the lid and lowered himself inside. So he's pleased that he sang at the top of the gingerbread voice. "Ha ha hee hee, you'll never find me. I'm the gingerbread baby. Catch me if you can." The milk and cheese man heard the gingerbread baby's voice. "Who's meddling with my milk?" he shouted and lifted the lid. But the gingerbread baby was ready. He jumped up and tweaked his nose. What do you think of that? Tweaking the man's nose. He's got a crowd after him. Now the milkman, the fox, the villagers, the mama pig, Martha and Madeline, the bleating goats, the barking dog, the meowing cat, the father and mother were all after the gingerbread baby, and getting closer, and he knew it. The brash baby was not too puffy, as proud as he had been. He sniffed a familiar smell and followed his nose to the woods. Look at all those people behind him. He couldn't believe what he saw. In the middle of the clearing was a gingerbread house, frosted with sugar, covered with candy, and doors with peppermint handles wide open. The gingerbread baby clapped his hands with glee and ran inside. Does that look like the woods you all made? Bet you I know who made that gingerbread house. Who y'all think made the gingerbread house? And the tick-tock-tick, everyone arrived at the clearing. What they all found were a few bits of frosting, a peppermint candy, and some crumbs. The father exclaimed, "The gingerbread baby has finally met his match. I wonder who it was." The mother said, "Let's go home and tell Maddie." "Hello, Maddie," his father said when they got home. "We never did catch the gingerbread baby. All we found were some crumbs in the snow. Have you been busy?" his mother said, looking at the gingerbread house Maddie was holding. "Too bad we never caught the gingerbread baby." "Too bad," said Maddie. He's got the gingerbread house in his hands. I think if Maddie made it. Only Maddie could hear the tiny voice from inside the gingerbread house. The end.